Welcome to the Digital Marketing News. I'm Tiffani Allen.
And with your first story this year, new year, new me?
It is.
New year, same me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you can't improve on perfection.
That's true.
Yes, but you know what you can improve on?
What?
Facebook's instant articles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this is a thing that came out that got a little bit of buzz, and then the marketers were kind of backed off of it a bit. Facebook had a way to host stories natively that would give a really great user experience, kind of load up fast and show up right in the news feed. And so great for users. However, it was really bad for brands who were trying to get people from Facebook onto their platform.
Right.
Weirdly enough, Facebook was offering a tool that was supposed to keep people on Facebook. So in an attempt to kind of boost the popularity of the instant articles, they are adding some new features. One of them is some recirculation features and some navigation features that are designed to make it easier to share them. And what's more important for us, easier to link off to content that is not on Facebook.
Great.
So, and they have also added support for these instant article links in Instagram stories and Facebook stories, also known as the stories that everybody uses and the stories that nobody uses.
Right, yes.
Yes, but Instagram stories for sure. And so given these changes, I think it's worth taking another look at instant articles. It seems like Facebook is trying to make that happen. We all know that Facebook tends to push with its algorithm things that it wants to have happen.
Yep.
But in this case, they do seem to be meeting us at least halfway.
Well, that's good. We're like halfway.
Yeah, it's roughly 50% if my math's right.
That's right. That is right. You know, it's less than 50%.
Ooh, what's less than 50%?
30%.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's your fact of the day.
That's just how numbers work.
Speaking of 30%, Josh, here we go. Data security software company Egress surveyed some companies about the California Consumer Privacy Act.
Is that where the 30%'s coming in?
That's where the 30%'s coming in.
Uh-oh. Sounds bad.
It's very bad. So as of October 2019, only 30% of companies said they were currently compliant.
Oof.
Yeah. 27% said they expect to be compliant in 2020. 13% said after 2020.
Okay.
And as you know, this act went into effect on January 1st this year.
Yes.
Right now.
2020 is where we're at.
We are in, you might not believe it, but we are here. 12% of companies surveyed said they had no plans to be compliant.
That is a bold stance.
It's like not legal to do that.
We get that there's a law, but
We're not interested.
Right.
So many firms had said in past surveys that compliance, the cost of it is the key barrier. But again, the cost of not complying with this is probably also pretty expensive for companies. So ultimately, it is the law. It's in effect. It's time to get there. Consult with your security folks, maybe some lawyers, get it figured out, and just make sure you're continuing to protect the consumer privacy as is mandated by the law.
Yeah, as is mandated by the law, but also, do you want to be the company that's telling your customers, like, hey, just so you know, we are not going to protect your data.
Yeah.
You can't even make a law that's going to make it us protect your
No,
data.
here's what we're doing.
Yeah. You know what they're going to do? Your customers are going to post a story on Instagram
Right.
about it, and they're going to talk about that
Yes.
customer experience, and there you go.
Right.
If they are already on Instagram, that is. If they're not on Instagram, it might take a little bit longer for them to join, because it turns out that Instagram growth is finally starting to slow down a little
Wow.
bit. So again, when we're talking about these numbers, we talk about slowing growth. That doesn't mean that people are leaving the platform in droves. It means that for the first time, there will not be a double-digit percentage in growth.
Wow.
So this is from eMarketer. They saw this trend. They predict that by 2023, if this trend continues, if these shadows remain unaltered. Sorry, just one little more Christmas Carol reference.
Hey, thank you.
Should these shadows remain unaltered, growth is going to be down to a mere 1.8% in 2023.
Okay.
So growth slowing down a little bit. Maybe people are starting to look at some other platforms, which we'll get into in just a moment.
We sure will.
But ad revenue, though, is growing still, and that's growing at double-digit rates in kind of a ridiculous degree. They are projecting $9.45 billion in 2019, and that's going to grow 46.6%, so nearly half, all the way up to $13.86 billion in 2020. So maybe not as many people are joining Instagram as before, but definitely still the hot commodity for marketers.
Yeah, definitely. And there's probably something to do with critical mass at some point where everyone's already there.
That's just all the people.
Yeah, there's no more people, so here we are. You know, it's another app we have to talk about. Time.
What is it?
Are you ready?
Yes.
TikTok.
Oh, the app that has the clock-like sound that reminds me of my impending mortality. Love TikTok.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes, everyone loves it. obviously, right? TikTok in-app purchase revenue, though, rose 310% year over year.
That's a whole lot.
That's a lot of money, right? So this is about $50.
Just about $50.
$50 in millions, $1 million bills in revenue this year. 500 million active users are now using their platform, right? It's the third most downloaded app in Q1, at least of 2019. Those numbers are continuing to grow, of course, throughout the course of 2019 and into 2020. It is the most downloaded app in the Apple App Store.
Goodness.
Yeah. So in terms of demographics, 41% of the users are 16 to 24 years old, but the audience is growing. So marketers, maybe think about keeping an eye on the TikTok situation if you have time.
Tell you what, I'll watch the ticks and you watch the talks.
Okay, great. I love that division. Perfect.
Kesha is not involved with any of this at all.
You're right.
So for our final story this week, we have an interesting little survey from Chief Marketer, their 2020 B2B marketing survey. A smaller survey, but with a pretty important group of folks that are worth looking at. We have 167 B2B marketing executives and managers, so most folks in the CMO role or the VP or even down to the manager role. And they're talking about what works for them for B2B marketing. Could also be what works for you. Who knows? They found that the channels that are bringing them the highest ROI are first, email. We may have mentioned email on the program repeatedly. Second, search optimization and search marketing. So both of those, organic and paid, getting in there. Third, content marketing. Of course, as a content person, I say adieu. And fourth, though, live events.
Yeah.
So even though we are in a digital world with webinars and all the whatnots and the ticks and the talks,
right.
There doesn't seem to be a substitute for just getting people in the same room together. They also talked about, speaking of content marketing, what content is most effective to move prospects through the funnel.
Okay.
Or the plate of spaghetti thing that we're supposed to use now because funnel is too simplistic. Just moving people along in general.
Yeah.
First, I'm happy to report articles and blog posts tend to get people in at the top of the funnel, keep them moving to those next steps. At the bottom of the funnel, we've got reviews and testimonials. So anytime you can get some of that proof from existing customers, if you can invite your customers to create content with you and feature them in new and exciting ways, that's always good. And third, we have our good old standby, the white paper.
Right. But
white papers need to be a little more engaging now than they used to be. So we're not talking about the super dry, big blocks of text here. We still have to keep in mind that humans are reading them.
Right. We like humans. Humans do work
awesome,
items.
yeah.
They're also on social media. Speaking of social media, there were a few effective social media channels for B2B marketers. This is going to shock you, so get ready.
Okay.
84% said LinkedIn for B2B social media.
LinkedIn for B2B?
I know.
What an idea. Okay.
It's bananas. 43% said Facebook, which is a rather large number for someone who's not necessarily known for their B2B presence, but there we are. 25% said Twitter, 25% said YouTube, and 16% said Instagram.
I still think Instagram is one of the biggest opportunities that people are missing out on. It's so easy to create just a little bit of content for that, throw a little behind the scenes video and a story, or take a couple of pictures of what your office looks like maybe, or your ugly sweater contest. Take just a picture on an average day and pretend that it's an ugly sweater contest and see how many of your employees get sad.
And agree.
Yeah, so Instagram's a good place to show the lighter, softer, more human side of your brand, whereas LinkedIn would be more of that bottom of the funnel type business to business kind of place.
Yeah, I was also surprised about YouTube, to be honest with you, at 25%. I think we're going to see some growth there over the next few years as folks are embracing video content and seeing how that helps you connect to other folks who are looking to solve problems.
Yeah, and YouTube's a channel not to overlook as you're developing video content, for sure.
Correct. All right, well, that's all the news.
Said on YouTube.
He really did. Well, that's all the news we have for you this week. We'll be back next week with more marketing news. If you need more in the meantime, you can follow TopRank on Twitter at TopRank or me at Tiffani_Allen.
That is true. And you can also find me on Twitter at NiteWrites. That's NITEWRITES. And please do subscribe to this here blog and this here show and our channel so you'll see all the cool things that we're doing. And hey, Happy New Year, and thanks for tuning in.
See you next time.
Bye now.